Okay, hear me out. You're planning a trip to Florida with your family. You're staying at a resort, kind of a little staycation, but you know that everybody's going to get a little stir crazy if you're in the same place for 7 days, right? You got to be moving. You're planning a day at the beach somewhere, but you want a few other things to do. Man, an amusement park would be really nice, but Disney is so expensive. Like $200 per person per day is kind of your starting guideline. You just don't think that's in the budget. Are there other options? I really think you should consider SeaWorld. You could do SeaWorld, Aquatica, and Busch Gardens. Let's talk about it. Hi friends, this is Laura Krumzak with the Disney Slowdown, and yes, I normally talk about Disney, but as you know, if you've been following along, we got SeaWorld passes this year, and we've really been enjoying it. First of all, the cost. It's less expensive to get in through the gate, and there are lots of tips and tricks to help you do that in the most efficient and budget-friendly way possible. Once you're in the gate, I would say the per purchase items could be a little more expensive. The merchandise is more expensive. The food is more expensive for sure. But there are ways around that. So how could you manage to go to all three parks with your family of 5 for less than what you could go to Disney World? And why should you do that? The first reason is if your family likes roller coasters. I am telling you what, SeaWorld has the best roller coasters I've ever been on. They're big, they've got a lot of movement, but they're not so fast that your skin is flying off. And they are smooth. If your inner roller coaster loving childhood heart misses the times when you used to be able to ride roller coasters and it didn't affect your back and neck, I'm telling you, SeaWorld is the place for you. Now, avoid Kraken. I've heard Kraken cracks your necks, and my kids have confirmed Kraken is rough. But the other ones are a blast. Mako, Manta, Pipeline, Journey to Atlantis. We haven't done Infinity Falls. That's your inner tube riverboat. You get totally drenched ride. Not super excited about that one. Journey to Atlantis, your shoes will get wet. I have not ridden the Icebreaker yet. That one tends to have more of a line. It takes longer to get through the line, I think, is the problem because of the way the track is designed. Penguin Trek is their newest roller coaster and probably their most popular because the minimum height requirement is only 42 inches. All the other ones require you to be kind of tall. So if your kids are short, then maybe you should hold out on SeaWorld because they're going to be disappointed. They're not going to be able to ride those rides. I know we had short kids. They had to grow into several of the roller coasters at Six Flags. They still weren't able to do the top ones before we left. Jaden wasn't hardly able to do any of them before we moved. So I get it. My kids love the roller coasters, but you've got to be tall enough. Depending on when you're planning your Florida vacation, if you're planning between November and February, for whatever reason, fall break, Thanksgiving, Christmas, some other celebration that you're celebrating, or maybe you just like to take vacation when nobody else is taking vacation and you've decided January or February are good days to go to Florida because where you live, it's cold and snowy. I get it. SeaWorld is definitely going to be less busy and less congested during the week than Disney or Universal. Disney is doing everything they can to bring the crowds during those historically lower time frames. And SeaWorld has a lot of local traffic, which means they're going to be there after school and they're going to be there on the weekend. So if you're here for a week and you want to do something during the day, during the week when nobody else is around, I'm telling you, SeaWorld is the place for you. If you like to eat, SeaWorld is really topping my list. I wouldn't say that their food is over the top amazing. You don't have vloggers going in and trying everything and seeing how awesome they did. No. But you get a lot of food with that all-day dining every 90 minutes. And we've had some really good eats. I'm not sad about my purchases for all-day dining. And because the prices inside the park are pretty expensive, the all-day dining is the cost of less than 2 meals. I know, it's crazy. Let's talk about the annual passes. One correction, or maybe I just didn't mention it. It didn't really click in my brain. When you purchase an annual pass for SeaWorld, it is active immediately. The downside to that is if you purchase it during a sale in September or November, but you're not coming until February, you're missing out on those months. But if you're only coming to Florida once, it doesn't really matter when you purchase it as long as your visit falls within that year, right? So are you tracking with me? So let's look at this. You don't come to Florida every year. You're planning to come one time and you want to do something different. You want to get out of the resort. You've heard about SeaWorld. And you're like, let's give it a try. You're stalking the website. You're stalking the sales. They had sales in September over Labor Day weekend. They had sales in November. But the earlier in November that they are, the better the deal it was. So as we got closer to Black Friday, the percentage off got less and less. So let's say that you're stalking the sales, either September, early November, even as we get closer to Black Friday, or I've heard January has some good sales. I haven't experienced that yet, but if you're planning a trip way in the future, start stalking the pages now so you kind of get a feel for what their sale prices are. As long as your one trip falls within your 12 months from when you purchase it, it doesn't matter if you're missing all these other benefits because you're focused on getting the most budget-friendly trip that you can during that week. So hear me out. The Platinum Pass has a lot of benefits. It's $400 per person, but if you're planning a family of 5, look at the time frame for when you get your guest passes. You can't use all 8 of them at one time. They stopped that because people were buying the passes, coming once, bringing their whole family, and that was it. So I understand that, but you can still use this to your advantage. You've got a family of 5. One person gets a Platinum Pass for $400 to SeaWorld. If you're planning on incorporating Busch Gardens, I would recommend somebody getting their home park as Busch Gardens. The prices are the same, the benefits are the same. However, your annual pass home benefits are going to be for your home park. So while as a Platinum Pass member, I have a bonus guest ticket to Busch Gardens and a bonus guest ticket to Aquatica, the water park, my annual guest passes are for SeaWorld. So you could do the math here and you could say, okay, maybe somebody gets the Platinum Pass for SeaWorld and somebody gets it for Busch Gardens, then you would have 4 of your 5 family members covered. And then the question is, what are the bonus tickets? Do you have extra tickets? Do you have to buy another pass or not? SeaWorld and Busch Gardens, they will put about 4 or 5 months on their website of what the monthly rewards are going to be for their pass holders. So you should be able to figure that out and still catch one of those deals. The all-day dining deals, those are good for 12 months. Buy them at the best price that you could find them, and then you only have to use them in the 12 months. I believe Aquatica also has an all-day dining, so you're going to have to look at that. I'm telling you, it's the best way to go, especially if you get them on sale. I know that I was not a fan of SeaWorld with the Howl O Scream. I am not a horror and gore person at all. If you are, I've heard great things about it. It's not for me. And what I did not like about it was the advertised park hours said the park closed at 8 o'clock. When in actuality, more than half the park closed starting at 5. They funneled everybody out of the back half of the park into the front half of the park. Then you're super congested. Lines are really long. You are not getting any food at that point. Just leave. You can't get anywhere. You can't do anything. Just leave the park at that point. That was disappointing. But I love the Christmas stuff. I love the Christmas decorations. The park is open late. It's fabulous. I really enjoyed the show, Oh Wondrous Night. It was jazzy and festive and it was wonderful. And it's indoors. Had I known that the fireworks are not always going to happen at SeaWorld because of the wind, I would have planned it better. I would have done the indoor event later on in the night and I would have gone to the ice skating show earlier because it got cold. You see what I'm wearing here? Yes, it's cold in Florida right now. Cold for our standards. The heat is on. and not in a good way. If you're planning a trip to Florida between November and February, you're going to have to dress in layers and you're going to have to be prepared for some pretty chilly mornings and evenings. When the sun is not out, it could get very cold, and it's a very damp cold. Growing up in the Midwest, I know we've had snow and ice and cold. I get it, but even 40, 50 degrees here feels colder because it's so humid. It's so damp. It just chills you to the bone. But in SeaWorld, if the wind is blowing the wrong direction, they are not going to shoot off the fireworks because they don't want the firework debris to end up in the orca tank. That's what I've been told. It totally makes sense. So if you're planning to stay until 10 o'clock like we were the other day, and you're planning on sitting there and watching the fireworks, just understand the fireworks may not happen. So don't plan your activities around the fireworks. Originally, we were going to see A Wondrous Night at the first show because I wanted to make sure we saw it. I think it was like 5 o'clock. Then they had another one at 7, but I did another show, which was not fabulous, but it was also indoors. And then I wanted to catch the late ice skating show at 9:30, and then we would be in the outdoor stadium so we could watch the fireworks. Well, by 8 o'clock, it was cold. We were pretty much done, and we didn't want to stay around. It was too cold to ride rides even, and there were no animal shows. They were done usually by 5, 6 o'clock at the latest. So we were pretty much done, so we just left. We didn't get to see the ice skating show, and we did not get to see the fireworks, but the fireworks didn't happen. I found out afterwards. When we go back, I will definitely catch the early ice skating show because I've heard it's great. I've seen it online. Somebody videoed it. It was great. And then if we're still around, I'll probably go see A Wondrous Night again because that was fun. Back to the roller coasters. They're doing this thing, and I think this is the first time. It's called Coasters After Dark. So it's a specially ticketed event. It's $50 a person, and you are there for 3 hours only to ride the roller coasters. If that's your thing and your people like to stay up late and you just want to ride roller coasters, that might be a better thing for you as opposed to going and experiencing the whole park and the shows and parades and the animals. If you're just like, let's just get some roller coasters in, check and see if that's available because I think that would be worth the money for sure. SeaWorld also has food festivals. Now, surprisingly enough, I didn't look at the prices. In my brain, SeaWorld's food is so much more expensive that I didn't even look at the advertised price. But then when I got my lanyard and I started looking at some of the receipts, I was like, wait, this is a lot less expensive than I thought it was. So when I go back to use the rest of my lanyard, I will definitely have to check out the prices. They have a lanyard that you can purchase. It's $75 for 10. However, annual pass holders can buy a special one for 12 for the price of 10. So that's what we did. We were also able to use our SeaWorld bucks toward it, so it made it a little less expensive. We brought our price point down to probably about $4.50 per item, so we still didn't do bad. They have 15 food booths right now, and 3 of them are cookies and hot chocolate. The cookies are okay. They're not bad. The hot chocolate wasn't worth it, I would say. And they give you a map of where everything is. How cool is that? Yeah, there's your cookies and hot chocolate. I wasn't overly impressed with that, but I was pretty impressed with the offerings that they had. And because we were there all day, we'd started with the all-day dining, and then we picked up a few items from the food booth, but we didn't want to eat anymore. It was late, and we decided to go ahead and go, and then we'll come back and we'll finish up the rest of our punches. Originally, the food festival wasn't supposed to start until 4, but they backed it up till 2, which made my heart happy. We probably would not have gone with the all-day dining if we would have known they were starting at 2. And there were a lot of really good protein items on here that we did not get to try. I'm looking forward to trying those. They also had some cocktails and drinks, and it's definitely worth checking into if you are here during the holiday season. This did not begin until November 16th. Originally, they advertised it November 8th, but then they took a week and they threw in a special Veterans tribute. So they backed up their Christmas stuff until November 16th. And I believe it goes till January 5th, as it says on the brochure. We will be going back after we take my mom and my daughter to the airport on the 22nd. Some of the items that we purchased, though, like the kettle corn, I did one punch for the kettle corn and they handed me this little bitty bag, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna need more popcorn than that. So they told me, well, you could get 2 or 3 punches, and they showed me this big jumbo bag of kettle corn. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do the 3 punches. But then on the receipt it said that it was only $3.50 a punch, or yeah. So I was like, wait a minute, I can get this big bag for $10. It was a bigger bag than I had picked up at the Ren Fair, and I think I paid $12 or $16 for the one at Ren Fair. So if we have to have more kettle corn when we go back, probably just pay for that out of pocket. I don't know if I get an AP discount at the food booths if we just purchase it and pay for it out of pocket. I'm not clear on that, but still $10 for this big thing of popcorn, I'm okay with that. And I hear there's another one, another food festival that's even better than the holiday one. It's called Seven Seas, I believe, and it's in the spring. So I am looking forward to that one. They say there's better food, more food booths. They've equated it to Food and Wine at Epcot. I will definitely be making a trip down there and checking that out, and we will see if what they say is true. If you found this video helpful, would you please like it, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell? Let's talk about what's coming up next week. Next week is my trip to Disney World. I'm going to be there for a whole week with Samara and my oldest daughter and my mom. It is her first time ever going to Walt Disney World. We are super excited. We have been planning it for months now. She is gluten-free. She can't ride a lot of the rides, but we are there for the immersion and the experience, and because she's never been. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna take my mom to Disney World. So if you haven't seen all those planning sessions and you're curious and you want to plan along, I will link them right here for you. Feel free to grab my Google spreadsheet to help you plan your trip with your family. I've got a lot of information on there, like questions you should ask yourself, and just a good place to start. It's not fully fleshed out, but I feel like it's a good starting place if you're trying to figure out if a Disney World trip is in your budget. And I'm telling you, even if it's not, I've got lots of stuff on my channel for Universal, a Disney cruise, and SeaWorld. We've been exploring SeaWorld this year. I don't remember if I did one about Legoland. We really enjoyed Legoland too. We want to go back. It's a fun park, especially if you have littles. Next week, I'm going to try to do some live streaming, like for parades and fireworks, but I will not have any videos probably till after Christmas. I will have a lot of footage. I'll be putting it all together, and I would like to come back and do a recap of how it went, because you saw our plan. Now let's see if the plan matches reality. The one theory I'm testing out, is it better to buy the hopper ticket than to pay for multi-pass lightning lane and single pass lightning lanes, or even the premier pass lightning lanes for each day that you're in the park? Premier is super expensive. I still can't believe people are doing that, but people like to throw money at Disney, so that's them. That is not me, not my family at all. I've never purchased a multi-pass lightning lane or a single pass lightning lane. I get into the virtual queues, and our strategy is we are going to go to the park that closes early. On a party day, we're going to Magic Kingdom. On a party day, we're going to Hollywood Studios. We're going to see if we can get everything done in that park, and then maybe come back for the evening fireworks on a day that's not a party day. Undecided about that for Magic Kingdom if you watched my last video, because I've heard that the parks are just packed because there are 4 party days in Magic Kingdom a week. So there's only 3 days where people who are getting a single park per day ticket can actually go and see the fireworks. Plus you have all the people with hoppers who are probably doing what we're doing, or annual pass holders who just want to come in and catch the fireworks. It is packed to the brim. I don't think I want to be part of that madness. We'll see when we get there. We'll see how we feel. Thanks for tuning in with me. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on my channel while we're at Disney and on my next video.